Moses chosen as intermediator by Ginzberg. After Israel had heard the 10 Commandments, they supposed that God would on this occasion reveal to them all the rest of the Torah. But the awful vision on Mount Sinai, where they heard the visible and saw the audible, the privilege was granted them that even the slave women among them saw more than the greatest prophet of later times. This vision has so exhausted them that they would surely have perished had they heard another word from God. They therefore went to Moses and implored him to be the intermediator between them and God. God found their wish right, so that he not only employed Moses as his intermediator, but determined in all future times to send prophets to Israel as messengers of his words. Turning to Moses, God said, "All that they have spoken is good. If it were possible, I would even now dismiss the angel of death, but death against humanity has already been decreed by me, hence it must remain." 238 Go, say unto them, "Return to your tents, but stay thou with me." In these words, God indicated to Israel that they might again enter upon conjugal relations, from which they has abstained throughout 3 days, while Moses should forever have to deny himself all earthly indulgences. 239. Moses in his great wisdom now knew how, in a few words, to calm the great excitement of the myriads of men, saying to them, "God gave you the Torah and wrought marvels for you, in order, through this, and through the observances of the laws which he imposed upon you, to distinguish you before all other nations on earth. Consider, however, that whereas up to this time you have been ignorant, and your ignorance served as your excuse, you now know exactly what to do and what not to do. Until now you did not know that the righteous are to be rewarded and the godless to be punished in the future world, but now you know it. But as long as you will have a feeling of shame, you will not lightly commit sins." Hereupon the people withdrew 12 miles from Mount Sinai, while Moses stepped quite close before the Lord. 240. In the immediate proximity of God are the souls of the pious, a little farther mercy and justice, and close to these was the position Moses was allowed to occupy. 241. The vision of Moses, owing to his nearness to God, was clear and distinct, unlike that of the other prophets, who saw but dimly. He is furthermore distinguished from all the other prophets that he was conscious of his prophetic revelations, while they were unconscious in the moments of prophecy. A third distinction of Moses, which he indeed shared with Aaron and Samuel, was that God revealed himself to him in a pillar of cloud. 242. In spite of these great marks of favor to Moses, the people still perceived the difference between the first 2 commandments, which they heard directly from God, and those that they learned through Moses' intercession. For when they heard the words, "I am the Eternal thy Lord," the understanding of the Torah became deep-rooted in their hearts, so that they never forgot what they thus learned. But they forgot some of the things Moses taught, for as man is a being of flesh and blood, and hence ephemeral, so are his teachings ephemeral. They hereupon came to Moses, saying, "Oh, if he would only reveal himself once more. Oh, that once more he would kiss us with the kisses of his mouth. Oh, that understanding of the Torah might remain firm in our hearts as before." Moses answered, "It is no longer possible now, but it will come to pass in the future world, when he will put his law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts." Israel had another reason for regretting the choice of an intermediator between themselves and God. When they heard the 2nd commandment, "Thou shalt have no strange gods beside me," the evil impulse was torn out from their hearts. But as soon as they requested Moses to intercede for them, the evil impulse set in once more in its old place. In vain, however, did they plead with Moses to restore the former direct communication between them and God, so that the evil impulse might be taken from them. For he said, "It is no longer possible now, but in the future world he will take out of your flesh the stony heart." Although Israel had now heard only the first 2 commandments directly from God, still the divine apparition had an enormous influence upon this generation. Never in the course of their lives was any physical impurity heard of among them, nor did any vermin succeed in infesting their bodies, and when they died, their corpses remained free from worms and insects. 244.